true love.
Come on, it's really
I'm leaning on the everlasting arms. If I can see it, then I can do it. If I
there's a
just
lot going on here that's like super interesting.
now I know the meaning of true love.
Listen how he disappears on that. That's an aspirate gradual, but on the end. There are two things that he's taking advantage of, which I love. So he's doing an aspirate gradual. It's to say that here's what it is: the Bernoulli effect, right? So you'd imagine that as I blow into between these two cards, if I blow air in between these two cards, oops, there we go. So they come closer together, and that's called the Bernoulli effect. Now, what that is effectively that I'm pushing out the air pressure, so the pressure on the outside of those index cards is greater than the pressure on the inside. There pours a vacuum, and so boom. And that's what happens with the vocal folds. This is one of the primary mechanisms that will dictate whether or not the folds are together and how thick they are. There are other things, but that's what he's doing on the end there. What we're going to look at the higher frequencies here. So this is a spectrogram. The x-axis is going to be the frequencies, and the y-axis is time, and then how bright the color is, how loud that specific frequency is. Now, for the aspirate gradual, we're actually going to focus on the higher frequencies and this like beige waveform thing. You're going to see that the waveform is going to go like, it's just going to like really gradually descend. Now I know the meaning of true love. That's hard for me because opera singers just drain that out. Like it's the tilt as always, but if I right?
I'm leaning on the everlasting arms. If I can
You can kind of see what he's doing when he's he's lowering his larynx, he's puckering his lips, and that creates an emphasis on the lower frequencies. It's not very ergonomic. Like you don't want to do that when you're going up high, but in this range, it's fine. Like unlike my hair. Now we're going to see these lower frequencies. If I do this phrase as, and now I know, and now I know, I'm going to hold that now, and then I'm going to lengthen the vocal tract by pursing my lips a little bit and lowering the larynx. And now, you see that difference in the brightness of the lower frequencies, right? So what he's trying to do is he's trying to switch up the phrasing, right? So love is delicate. It's passionate, but it's positive. If I do, and now I know the meaning of love, I'm leaning on the air, right? Very, very big contrast in tone. Very different.
everlasting arms. If I can see it, if I can see it, then I can do it. If I just believe it, there's nothing to it.
That's about half. It's an unbelievably gorgeous harmony. But before we get there, I want to point out just how brilliant this song is. When you do this song, for the most part, when you want to really give emphasis to the words, all you have to do is have a consistent exhale. All of the harder consonants are on the beats that should have more emphasis, and all these, like these the L's and all of the softer consonants are on the rest and the cadence. So if I go, and now I know the meaning of true love, right? It takes care of itself. 'Cause if I can see it, oh, then I can do it. If I just believe it, right? All of those really harder consonants are just right there. So it gives you word emphasis of what the text is supposed to be. Anyway, it's a brilliant tune. And so what he's doing is he's using that opportunity to focus on phrasing. And his phrasing is so good. It's so good. One of the things that's really, really difficult about making this kind of content is that if I don't chop up the performance, literally in the video editor, I'm just not going to get paid for the video, which compromises the growth of the channel. So what's great about Patreon is that patrons go and pay for individual reacts. Thank you to the patrons who sponsored this video.
I believe I can touch the sky. I think about it every night and day.
Oh.
Spread my wings and fly away. I believe I can soar. See me running through an open door. I believe I can.
Perfect. It's perfect. It's so darn beautiful. One of the things that's making this harmony so darn juicy is that we're seeing someone lower their larynx to get just a little bit, just a tiny bit. And then the other individual is raising their larynx, and so they're making room for each other, right? The lower frequencies are there, but then he's got not a lot of high frequencies, and then the opposite is true. We saw that with the spectrogram. It's cool. It's neat. And now I know the meaning of true love. So real quick, if you're paying attention there, the higher voice on the spectrogram didn't have as much volume. We hear higher frequencies more easily. So that's why the perception is that it is louder. I can't sound.
I believe I can touch the sky.
It's angelic. It's ridiculous. It's beautiful. Okay, falsetto. Okay, falsetto. Listen.
Spread my wings and fly away. I believe I can.
Oh, God. It's so good. So falsetto is what happens when the vocal folds flip open. So falsetto is what happens when the vocal folds flip open. Just get an example right here with these cards. The air will push the vocal folds open, and the only thing that are the only part of the vocal folds that are oscillating are these like little edges of the folds. So you're not getting this, you're getting this. And that's why it's so light and the power is kind of just not there. But I mean, the application here, so good.
I think about it every night and day. Spread my wings and fly away. I believe I can soar. See me running through an open door. I believe I can fly. I believe I can fly. I believe I can fly. Yeah. See, I was on the verge of breaking down.
Wow. So remember when we talked about before, we talked about that aspirate gradual. Right now, it's not quite an aspirate gradual, but it's super, super light and delicate and very, very difficult to navigate. So whenever you have vibrato, what's happening is that thyroid cartilage is the like your Adam's apple. The vocal folds are connected to that. If this is your resting state of your vocal folds, what happens is that this thing right here tilts and apparently breaks the vocal. Tilts and it stretches it out like that. And so you get a lot of power because the vocal folds are kept together regardless. Well, not regardless, but more air pressure can build up below folds without a flipping open the falsetto. And so what he's trying to do here is he's really working hard to keep it very, very delicate. And you can tell because of his posture, it's not he's not collapsed. He just hasn't inhaled. There's no massive inhale, which makes life easier because if you exhale from a big inhale, just try it. Just try it right now. I'll do it with you. Right? All of that air in and try to slowly release it. It's very difficult. Whereas if you just take a smaller inhale, it's significantly easier.
Seems so loud. There are miracles in life I must achieve.
That's so very difficult. So, going back to the thyroid cartilage, he has the challenge of thinning the folds slightly, just gradually untilting in order to back off that power. He does it so elegantly, and it's like effortless, and it's butter. It's butter. My God, it's butter. I have a little bit too coffee.
I know it starts inside of me. If I can see it, then I can be it. If I just believe it, there's nothing
This is a role reversal, right? It's a role reversal. He's taking the higher melody, the higher harmony, and he's doing it using falsetto. And that allows the tenor here to have a lot more power. He's complementing the vocals. This harmony is not about, it's just a little bit of thing to just give a compliment to the sound.
If I just believe it, there's nothing to it.
Yeah,
I believe I
it's
can
like
fly.
the tenor's voice is basically front and center. And the skill and the precision to blend in that way. Because here's the problem with falsetto, okay? The difficulty with falsetto is that as these folds just flip open, there's nothing stopping the air from leaking out. That's why that hiss kind of quality comes in whenever you hear someone doing falsetto. Right, that little hiss. And so you have to be incredible with your breath control to make sure that the phrasing is something that you can command, that you can have control over. Because if you cannot manage your breath when using falsetto, you're not going to be able to have this fine, gentlemen.
I believe I can fly. I believe I can fly. Why do you believe it? Oh, I believe it. Oh, if I can see it, I can see it. If I can do it, I just believe it. There's nothing to it. I believe I can fly. I believe I can trust.
So precise that they're harmonizing as they go on. Check this out.
There's nothing to it. I believe I can fly. I believe I can touch the sky. I think about it every night and day. I spread my wings and fly away. I believe I can soar. I see me running through an open door. I believe I can fly. I believe I can fly. I believe I can fly.
Now, listen, this is the only good thing about Space Jam. Okay? That is extremely, extremely difficult. It's what he's doing to get that grindy sound is actually, you know what? Here's how to do it. Just hold your breath for a second, and then as you are beginning to feel that closure, as you hold your breath, that's when you just sing very, very lightly. that gives you that kind of growl, that right? And what you want to do is you want to be very careful. You want to exhale everything before you do this inhale and exhale. And the reason why is you're going to dump your air. It's going to be a smaller inhale. We've already talked about the small inhale and the consequences of it. So, right, like that little squeeze is very, very difficult. And gospel singers are incredible, and R&B singers are incredible because it's such a it's so hard. And I come from opera where we want the exact opposite the entire time we're singing. So it's a lovely little thing that is idiomatic to singers who come from this background, and it's incredible. They're incredible singers. It's very technical.
I believe I can fly. I believe I can
A lot of people call reinforced falsetto. There's some tilt, even though there's falsetto, even though the folds are flipped. There's still tilt that is stretching out the folds. And this is a perfect example. This is something I want to bring up to my students. When he goes into those three different voices, it's not like chest mix head. What it is he's doing different things, right? Chest mix and head is like a shorthand of how we can talk about different breathing techniques, different folds, different ways that the folds can orient, but it's not like this. It's, you can mix and match, and this is beautiful. Treat, what a absolute treat. Thank you to the patron who suggested this. Again, if you're interested in requesting an analysis of a very specific singer, you can go to patreon.com/LesageSinging, or you can see the link down below in the description. This was phenomenal.